this button here and say, welcome everybody, discussing tabletop. I didn't die in a horrible flood.
That's always good.
Oh yeah, no flood death.
Yeah, yeah. I'm certainly like, hi, it's Discussing Tabletop, September 4th, 2021. Yeah, if you guys didn't know, Northeast, we did some, like, a lot of rain, flooding.
Oh, God.
It was bad.
Can you give us 50% of the rain you got?
Yes,
like,
please, take
talking to my friend on the West Coast, like, hey, we're on fire. No, we're drowning over here. Do you want this? Do you want this? We're drowning.
We're basically
please take it.
Here in the Northwest.
Mm-hmm. That's the two corners. It's like one has no water and the other has all the water. We're like, can we just like
we took all of the water.
We don't want it. It's too much.
I mean, I just watered the garden, and I'm really tired of watering the garden. So you know.
Yeah, basement got flooded. We still don't have the heater on because one of the electronic components is damaged. And we're not going to replacement part till next Wednesday, theoretically at earliest, because of the holiday weekend.
Winter.
Yes.
So you don't need it yet.
No, but I think winter would not flood the basement. Winter would have been snow.
Well, I mean, it would here.
it could. Sometimes we get some weirdly warm days in winter.
It could have been like that 40 degrees out and like flooding like that. I would have been so bad. Oh
yeah.
Yeah, it would have.
Ooh.
It's currently 70 degrees here in Fahrenheit.
Nice outside. I don't know the exact temperature, but it's nice outside. It doesn't stop me from sitting in my room with my air conditioner on. 73.
Hey, those temperatures I can get behind. I have a thermometer in my room. It's basically the same outside as it is inside, so it's pretty comfortable for me.
It's 77 degrees for right now.
Nah, it's a bit on the warm side.
A little warm.
That's not too bad. So yeah, no.
But we got some stuff to talk about.
We got tables to talk about.
Oh, we got some tables to talk about. So now that, you know, again, I'm glad I canceled Legacies of Kate because the internet went out like 45 minutes into when I would have been streaming.
That would have been really awkward.
It really would have been. But, yeah.
One day that game will end.
God. Weather apparently screwed us.
It end.
Weather tried to screw us this time. Weather, you know, the freaking skies opened up and we're like, no! You will not play this day.
The earth against this game ending.
We're gonna briefly touch up on the new Magic set. There's some... It's interesting, but it's also, like, not interesting. That's a weird way of saying it, so I'll talk about that. Wrath of the Righteous, the video game based on the Pathfinder, has released. Yes.
Shit.
I theoretically should do some things to get my copy, because I did fund the Kickstarter.
Theoretically should spend the $50 to buy the game or something.
Do some things for me, too.
Mm-hmm. Also from Pathfinder, Secrets of Magic. Then we're going to talk about something weird, because Cmon Games is in the NFT business also now.
Oh, fuck's sake.
And then we're going to do a...
NFT?
Then we're going to do a touch-up on the Renegade role-playing games, because it wasn't a lot, but they did release a little bit more, like some images and some more information. Not a lot of information, but a little bit on the games we were talking about last week. And then we have our deeper discussion topic, which is going to be player invincibility and decisions and actions, because that's going to be a thing where we had that topic we figured out at the end of last week, and we're like, that's a great one. We should talk about that soon. And I'm like, why not this week?
Yeah, and especially with Momo here, because there's a thing we talked about after a certain game that happened that I think is super relevant to that topic.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I actually forgot about that topic. It's been a week.
We talked last week about, give me a second here, saving your game versus bad luck.
Yeah, which is also pretty relevant.
That was relevant.
We rolled so bad.
Yeah, it was real relevant last session.
Mm-hmm.
Not failure, everyone dies bad, but definitely like, I don't want to roll anymore.
After I saw that first one, I'm like, oh, you should lower these species.
So, I'm gonna start, of course, with Magic the Gathering, because it's on here. Because the thing is, they've shown off more of one of the 2 Innistrad sets, which is this really weird thing here. So they're doing like 2 sets with different flavors that are like smaller sets that add up to more than a normal set that they've been doing lately are, and
Weird.
One's werewolves and one's vampires, but they've only been showing us werewolves? I don't think we've seen anything on the vampire one. I gotta be honest.
I saw one vampire card on Twitter. That was it.
Vampires are lame.
I mean, that's fair.
And, like, I gotta admit, like, the one thing I wanted to kind of, like, hit on after that is, like, I was looking on the mechanics, and I wanted to be, like, because I usually talk about mechanics of new sets, but I was thinking about it a little bit before we started, and I'm like, it's pretty much just the same thing with a different name. Like, they have werewolves, except now, rather than having, you know, the rules printed on it, they have Daybound and Nightbound, which are the exact same rules from werewolves from the original Innistrad, except now they have keywords.
Ooh,
Oh boy.
Keyword.
Yeah.
More printing, more money.
I mean, that's just
I
wizards in
hope
general
there
nowadays.
is a flying werewolf. Like the flying vampires.
Hell yeah.
That'd be kind of cool.
Very
I don't know what it
silly.
would be, but it would be ridiculous.
I assume like a werebat.
No.
Those exist, probably.
It's a werewolf with balloons.
like the Goblin Balloon Brigade?
Something like that.
Mm-hmm.
He's just got a bunch of balloons tied to his back and he's
balloon,
flying.
It's just Balloon Pikachu.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Then they also have, like, the other 2 abilities that they showed off that are in the werewolf deck are... there's a transformation ability, because Innistrad's all about the flip cards, that it transforms from your graveyard. So you have it out, it dies, and you transfer it back into play from your graveyard. Also neat. It's nothing fancy.
Mechanics I don't personally use, because I don't really play those kind of decks.
Well, they're showing off, like, a blue thing, because it's, like...
Blue? Tell me more.
It's a human peasant who, when he dies, becomes a ghost.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, you can bring him back as a ghost. Oh yeah, let me link the article for mechanics here.
I've just learned to only play blue because of those people.
And the other thing is, they call it Coven, which is if you have 3 creatures of different powers, your creature gets something. I mean,
that's weird.
Yeah. Like, none of these things are all fine,
yeah,
but none of them are, like, great, which is weird.
Ruffian.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, look at him go.
There's nothing, like, super special about these.
Yeah, that's the thing.
They exist.
And I also, like, I'm like, okay, this is an interesting thing they're going to have in, like, each pack of this. A card that's a flip card with day and night on the back, so you can keep track of if it's day or night. Because it doesn't, until a creature comes into play, it doesn't matter. When something comes into play, it starts usually as day, unless it says otherwise. It's like, okay, cool. Again, it's just a tracker, I guess, to keep everybody's brain in mind, because, you know, like, with the werewolves, I can see forgetting or missing stuff, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be weird if the vampires had, you know, day and night stuff, because if they die in the sunlight.
But I think, like, Innistrad has, like, magic that protects them from shit like that,
Probably.
You know?
I don't know that much about
Innistrad is weird because it's basically Barovia.
Oh, so I would hate it.
Well, they don't have their Strahd. Instead, they had, like, angels, which they went Cthulhu in the last time we visited Innistrad, except for one. Yeah.
Strahd would just be a magic, like a spell card, where it's fireball, and it's Strahd appears in fireballs, and then just take blah blah damage to blah blah target creatures.
Like, okay.
That'd be a great.
And again, like, it's one of those things. Is the one thing I have to say about Magic cards is I always really enjoy, like, they do really good with little, like, italicized quotes, because, again, this one from the card image galleries, Unruly Mob. We rise, Thrailvins, Killer Angels, horrors from beyond the moon. Now some big werewolves think they can scare us? Let them try. It's like, fuck. These people have been through much shit. You know?
Like, this is probably like one of the worst planes to live on.
It is the worst place to live. You know, I'm sorry. Like, Dominaria has, like, world-ending events, but, like, this place just sucks all day long.
Yeah.
And not long.
That's true.
It sucks all hours.
It does. It just sucks. You're just like, well...
Constantly terrible.
I mean, it's like it's filled with ghosts, zombies, werewolves, vampires, and just awfulness. Ugh. And probably horrors from beyond the stars that are just left over.
I mean...
I assume you can't get rid of all of those, you know? It's kind of hard to clean them up.
It takes a lot of effort.
Yeah.
You need a really big hole.
Just you need to, like, sweep them up somewhere or something.
They haven't invented dump trucks yet, or dozers, so they can't just throw them all in the back of a truck and then dump them in a hole.
Isn't it like that, what, 1920s set or some shit? And they can get a truck from there to put them in.
Yeah. Oh, that. Yeah. The
Cyberpunk set one.
The Cyberpunk set.
Which I'm actually excited for.
The Cyberpunk one, like, I want to see how they do it, because the thing is, I think they could do it well if they just are like, hey, yeah, it's been 2,000 years, we've expanded upon it. You know, that could work. I mean, Demon Gangsters, I'm also interested to see how they play that one.
Knowing Hasbro and Wizards of the Coast, they will do it the easiest way that makes them the most money.
Yes. Which means lazy.
Yeah.
Good old Hasbro.
They're fairly lazy.
I mean, I'm lazy too, so I can't.
Yeah,
we talked about the secret layers.
I did hear you talk.
Yeah, the Fortnite
lair
and Street Fighter. I forgot all about it, and and I heard someone talk about it. They're also saying there's going to be a Stranger Things one.
I thought the Stranger Things one was announced already.
It was announced previously.
There's so many secret layers.
Secret layers are a monstrosity.
They're maybe the thing I hate the most about Magic right now.
Well, the thing is, like, there is a core bit of concept in a secret layer that can be good. Critical reprints and interesting art that are valuable. And the thing is, you can look at some of these secret layers, not all of them, but there are, like, maybe 50% of them that you technically get your money worth. If you needed all those cards.
I think if I'm sat down at a table playing against someone and they play a Fortnite card, I'm conceding and losing.
See, that's what kind of where it goes too far, where they go to like a Fortnite shit. Like if it's just interesting reprints. If you fucking love that art, then sure, you know, that's subjective. But the abominations that are technically secret layers are just a thing. Let's talk computer games, because that's something we talk about occasionally here.
I also play those, but not this one specifically. Wrath
of the Righteous. It's not really the sequel to Kingmaker, but it kind of is a spiritual successor. Hi, Damien. You were here.
It's in like the same engine and setting and everything.
It would be like because.
It's an adventure.
It's an indirect sequel. It's not a direct sequel, so it doesn't have like anything to do with the other game, but it's in the same world.
I still have to play Kingmaker. I own it. I got it.
I've never played. I've played an hour of Kingmaker. I think.
I do want to play through it because it is Pathfinder and it's one of the adventure paths, and then I want to do Wrath of Righteous afterwards because this is an interesting thing about Wrath of Righteous. I was originally going to play this adventure path. I made a character for it.
Ooh. I think this is a mythic adventure.
It is the mythic adventure. I made an alchemist.
Ooh, fun.
I love power and being really powerful.
Me too.
I'd probably enjoy this game. One of the things about it, because I have not played it, I know a couple people who are playing it.
So badly.
But one of the other things it's doing, it's doing mythic.
Hi, Damien.
And it's also doing mass combat.
Ooh.
Though I think it's using the standard Pathfinder rules for mass combat, which aren't as good as the supplementary books, I think. Ooh. So the mass combat is, from what I've heard from my friend, not super awesome, but they're still pretty early on, I think. So maybe it'll get better.
Why can't we get like D&D games like this. Will we get trashed like the Baldur's Gate or what? Not Baldur's Gate. What was it? The one that like just Dark Alliance. That
Dark Alliance.
The newest one. That garbage thing.
Uh-huh.
Why can't we get D&D games like
For whatever reason, Hasbro and / Wizards doesn't want to do a role-playing game as a video game,
So
which
weird.
Been there, done that.
And the thing is,
they have a bunch of them. Go play those.
Like Neverwinter Nights, I thought was
hell
successful.
yeah.
I don't know about Neverwinter Nights 2. By that time, I was kind of not getting Neverwinter Nights, the original, was like my top-end computer game for a while.
I still play it.
And
I still play that game.
I had issues playing it on my computer, I have to say.
Oh, man.
I think
that game is... It's like a 3rd edition. I call it like 3.2 or something.
Yeah.
Because it's not 3rd edition and it's not 3.5 because there are certain things in there like, I don't think that's how it works. And Neverwinter Nights 2, because it's actually 3.5, there are some really amazing things in there. But they fixed a lot of the bugs and exploits that were in the original game, which is like, damn, I can't stack 5 strength items and have a plus 12.
I played a lot of the Icewind Dale games, not Neverwinter.
Yeah, Icewind Dale, I think 2 I played that while I was working security night shift.
They like remastered the first one at some point, and I don't remember if it was like bad or not.
Honestly, I'm not sure, because again, I didn't play the... Like, the thing is, there have been a lot of good D&D games that are role-playing type games. It's just, like, in the modern days, they don't do it, and
I think part of it is profitability. The single-player RPG games don't sell as well. I mean, look at Mass Effect, right?
Yeah.
Mass Effect 1 was an action RPG game, and then they took a lot of the RPG out of it and made it more of an action game.
They did. And it's still sad that they did.
I think the issue is that, like, they want to do the mass appeal, but they don't mass appeal with what their subject matter is, and that's the problem. Because what they did was, they did, what could be Dark Alliance described as a type of game? Like a,
what's the one where you fight? Oh, it's kind of a MOBA almost.
It's a Baldur's Gate, right? The original.
Which one?
Which one was Dark Alliance?
Dark Alliance is kind of like a hero game.
Yeah, that's what.
It's like a MOBA.
Yeah.
Kind of like a, but is it like?
It's like
it's a hack and slash.
It's hack and slash.
It's a hack and slash. And the thing is, like,
kind of like Gauntlet Legends and stuff.
Yeah, hack and slashes, I guess, are more popular than role-playing games, but so it's like it's got a better appeal to the masses. But I'm sorry, when you say like it's D&D, that's gonna get D&D people, and I'm sorry, if someone says to me, "There's gonna be a D&D video game," cool. Can you build your own character in it?
No.
Is it Baldur's Gate 3?
No.
Okay, Baldur's Gate 3. That is something that they've been working on.
Baldur's Gate 3 does look cool, and I will play it when it's out.
Because it's the people that did, isn't the people that did...
Divinity.
It's the Divinity people, which I've still never finished Divinity.
I've actually finished Divinity Original Sin 2.
I gotta finish that one.
I would be willing to play that with people, but it needs to be more than once a week, because that game is very, very long.
Yeah, I've heard it's a long game.
You'd probably like schedule like 2 or 3 times a week to.
Oh yeah, you'd have to
like marathon.
And you want to play for more than 2-hour brackets. You want to be playing it for like 4 or 5 hours in the sitting, if possible.
That's the reason I've never finished it. It's just too long.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate.
I don't know if Baldur's Gate 3 will be as long. I feel like it might be kind of that long. But
I feel like I could casually play Baldur's Gate.
The thing is, because it's
more than I could Divinity.
Divinity has RPG elements that are better than, a lot of other that type of games. It's still not like a full-on RPG, because I think I would call Divinity like a strategy RPG, more like.
Yeah.
Not quite a tactics, more like a strategy.
I could see that.
because like it's not like an XCOM or like, you know, well, XCOM's not an RPG, but like that, I think XCOM is more strategy. It's not like a Final Fantasy Tactics, I think is what it would be.
Yeah, that's a fair.
Yeah.
It has tactics in it, but it's not like XCOM.
Yeah, it's RPG with some tactics, strategy, positioning is important, things like that, you know. Which again,
line of sight, environmentals, and stuff like that.
Which those do show up in D&D, but not really that much, and that makes it very hard to recreate.
Environmentals are usually only because you cast a spell to change the environment, or the area you're in can, like, let's say a cave system, like, oh well, line of sight may be a problem, or it's dark, so you know you don't have as much vision. That's usually as complex as areas go, but like they're doing things that are akin to the divinity stuff, where it's like if there's oil in the ground, you can light it on fire, and then it's like a fire damage. It's like a D6 or something, you know.
Yeah,
that's neat.
In the game we're supposed to be talking about, Wrath of the Righteous, I feel like these games are very by the book for Pathfinder, but it also benefits because Pathfinder in general is that older style of game where, oh, there's a rule for that, where 5e is more like, here's some general ideas, you fill in the blanks to make that fun for your table.
The thing about Wrath of Righteous that I'm curious that I played a demo of it when I went to PAX East, and like this is the one thing I had to say about it, which I think other people I've talked to that have played Kingmaker talked about. You really are in control of your one character, and you sort of control the other characters, and that means it's sort of like a issue that you like you've got your one person that's like, you know, you're moving around, and then you kind of issue orders to your NPCs that follow you, and then they do those orders kind of thing, so it's keeping up with the orders can be difficult, especially on very quick combats and stuff like that.
I don't know. I feel like in the Kingdom Building,
yeah,
you had 100% control of everybody, so turns could take a long time because you have to go through and, like, if you had a lot of spellcasters.
I think it was this, you could pause it kind of and set things up. But the thing is, you either have to have it like that you're going by a crawl, or you're not in control. There's like two speeds. There's not a middle ground, you know. And I think that's the issue that I was kind of going at there.
Because with Divinity, it's actually turn-based. Baldur's Gate 3, it's actually turn-based. You roll initiative and you have the things. I think with the Pathfinder games, it's real-time with pause.
Yeah.
So you would pause and go through and queue up all your actions, and then there's like a default action that they will do. Now, mind you, I've not played any of these. It's just from what I remember of people playing and talking about the first, and like some streams that I've watched, people playing the Kingmaker.
Well, again, Wrath of Righteous demo I played, that's a lot of what it was, and the thing is, like, the demo, we were fighting a bunch of demons, and I tended to do some things, and my NPCs just murdered them, and then, like, if we were out of combat, I had the cleric heal some people, and that kind of went into being.
Kind of how those games go.
Yeah, because and that was, like, one of those issues that I had with it, is, like, though, like, the mechanics, like, if you get down to the numbers, are pure Pathfinder, it's the unfortunate thing that, like, you really, really have control of only one character, and after that, it's, you sort of have control of everybody else. You can get the full control, it's just you have to, like, kind of pause and slow things down and watch things very carefully and be pausing a lot.
Yeah, then it turns into a tactics game.
As someone who plays a lot of map painting games, like the Paradox games, I think that would be fine for me, because you pause a lot in those games. The micro and shit.
I agree with Josh in chat. Like, that's unfortunately that is actually how dungeon crawler campaigns are too. That they're very drag on, because unfortunately it's a lot of combat, it's a lot of encounter type things.
Yeah, the benefit of the video game is a lot of it can be automated. So it could take an hour or two in, like, pen and paper. It may be like 10-20 minutes in a game.
Yeah, I do like a dungeon crawl, but it's hard to pace them. It
Yeah.
really
Facing
is.
dungeon crawl is not the easiest thing. And also, I will say, Pillars of Eternity crew was kind of ruined for me because the combat takes abilities.
Hey, that's a topic
The
for deeper
first
discussion in the future. The dungeon crawl.
I think the second one.
That's
I remember the first one. I got up to basically the dungeon. There's like a never-ending dungeon in that game, and it's like that's when it's like, here's where the game really starts. And I'm like, I don't want to play anymore.
I never got to that point. I got bored before then.
Yeah, the start of that game is pretty.
I got to the point where I had 2 Matt Mercies in my party because they had them voice 2 characters.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah,
Double your map.
They had them voice 2 characters. One is the character you get immediately after the tutorial, and the second character is the one you get immediately after the first town.
Wow.
That's so fast. I think I hand-built my first team minus 1 NPC because I liked them, and I basically went off by what my friends said about which characters are the strongest, but I had a hard time in that game. It does not pull any punches in the beginning of the game.
No,
and
it
just
does
makes
not.
it not fun.
No, it's not
like,
a...
oh,
The second
you're
one was
dead.
a little better at it.
Yeah.
But Tyranny did it really well. Tyranny is a lot better.
Well,
video games.
video games.
Games.
It's the unfortunate thing that I think the kind of summary is that you can never get perfect when it comes to a video game based on a role-playing game. You can get close in certain ways, or like I think capturing the spirit is all you really need to do, and you have to ask a question: is this like the same world? Do like the ideas of the mechanics feel the same? You know, and that kind of hints at how much it matches up with stuff. You know.
I feel like Baldur's Gate 3, because it's not 100% in the rules, is more just trying to get the theme of an adventure, which is fine.
Yeah.
There's certain things that I think they need to change, because mechanically, everyone can bonus action hide, which is very broken.
That's hilarious.
And they need to fix it. And they still have not fixed it yet. And
Very
I'm like,
funny.
wow. So your wizard just walks behind a wall, bonus action hide. Wait, where'd the wizard go? Because they don't have line of sight, so you just like automatically succeed unless they walk around the corner, which I think they do more often now. But for a while, they just like, oh, well, he's gone. And then on your turn,
Wait,
you use your
were
movement.
they the
walk out
freaking
from
like
cover.
arrow to the eye in Skyrim? You like the thunk? You like you shoot him in the head?
Almost, yeah.
And he's like,
I think they started going to your last known position, but if you had like anyone with stealth, well, you're in like if you walked into a bush, you're in darkness, you're in a bush, you have like a bunch of bonuses to concealment. They can stand right next to you and be like, well, he's gone, and then they just stand there, and then you're like, stab.
It's not a real video game until the guards are as smart as they are in Metal Gear Solid.
And that's when their dummy thicks are too clapping. Next topic.
Hey, Secrets of Magic is out for Pathfinder 2nd Edition.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. We've talked about it a little bit. I think for the we talked about it when they were doing their
This is the one that had the new
playtest?
spells, like the weird spells in it.
I think this is the one that has the weird spells that they've been showing off. Yeah.
Band-Aid spell.
Yeah.
More Magic the Gathering.
Where's more Magic the Gathering?
I think you linked it.
No, I licked the Paizo Secrets Revealed.
You nerds.
Oh, Secrets of Magic. Oh, okay. It looks
Because it's
so much like Magic the Gathering to me. Because it was a book, and I thought it was just Magic the Gathering Pathfinder, Secrets of Magic. And I'm like, what the hell?
I mean, that'd be kind of hilarious.
I was
love
so
this,
confused.
like, weird mushroom guy.
Yeah. Maguses are introduced. Summoners are introduced. They introduce new methods of spell casting, which
Oh hell, let's go! It's summoner time.
Oops,
all summons.
Oops, all summons.
like I really do want to look at which maybe I can find in our archives of Nethys if they put it up there. Their version of Summoner, because honestly, I'm curious if they fix some of the summoneriness of Summoner, if that makes sense.
this cat is a bard or something?
Oh, the Starfinder thing?
Oh, it is Starfinder. Okay.
It's Starfinder,
I'm like,
yeah.
This picture on the left here doesn't look like.
Oh, they're
right
showing
now.
up-
that's fantasy. What are you talking
They're
about?
showing off some
Yeah.
other books that they're throwing out there, so they
There's
got like.
a train heist
Slip
with
tiles.
robots.
I love slip tiles.
Oh yeah, it's a train heist with robots.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
With the cat lady singing. Yeah, that's a thing. I think what's that? Combatant Concerto, Prelude to Revolution. that is a hell of a name.
Oh,
What a
is
name.
she Final Fantasy X2? gonna protest with music?
To robots that are robbing your train, your space
One of
train.
them zapping it with electricity, so
Yeah. Yep.
Ooh, flip tiles.
Yeah, flip tiles are nice.
Paizo always puts out a billion products that are usually pretty good. That's the thing is, like, it's always interesting to see everything they put out, like, because they do a good variety of stuff for both Pathfinder and Starfinder every month. Yeah, a lot of different, like, adventures. Like, if you're doing Pathfinder or Starfinder Society, you're gonna have those. Usually at least one adventure path. Things like that. Honestly speaking, until you mentioned it, Josh, I forgot all about Titan's Grave existing.
I have no idea what that is. This one has boats.
There's
United
a-
in purpose.
there's a
There's
boat.
a boat in this.
There's a boat.
Oh.
United in purpose. There's a boat. There's probably a story that revolves around a boat there. Who knows?
Imagine
Begin
so.
coordinating through an investigation of ruins. Strong and savvy field agents are needed to begin uncovering the secrets hidden within the ruins. You might get there by a boat, but like it's probably like a ruin.
I mean, it's got a boat in it.
It does have a boat in it, but maybe
It
that's
does.
maybe you start in the boat and then it takes you to a ruin. Here's stats for the boat. You'll see one time. 1 through 2.
That's
Pretty low level.
that's the way things work. Here's a boat you'll see once.
Yep. Here's stats for a 72 gun galleon. You're
Nice.
only on it for the first 30 minutes of the adventure.
So as much as I would love to talk more about Summoners and Maguses and 2nd edition Pathfinder, because that is pretty cool.
Are they not in here?
No, they're in there. You could see them in Archives of Nethys, which is kind of.
Ah.
I haven't tested the 2nd edition PSFRD yet, but it was behind Archives of Nethys. They might be on par with them now. I don't know, but I've been using Archives of Nethys because of that, which was fine. But let's talk about something else, which is a thing that occurred and exists. So, Cmon Games, a tabletop game publishing company, is partnering with Moonstone Digital to launch an NFT trading platform because reasons. Because
What the heck
money.
is
And
NFT?
NFTs are like,
Stupid.
so you know how you can buy the wonderful thing called art that you can hang on your wall and it looks nice, right?
Oh.
So it's like that, but
yeah.
digital, and you buy a token for it, and you get the token, but it's a
The
piece
token-
of digital technology that's meaningless.
Yeah, the token basically is like, this is why you're unique in this piece
Yeah.
of art.
It's
While,
It's
like,
Yeah.
there was
Yeah.
like a huge controversy with NFTs like months ago.
Yeah, I remember that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
They also kill the planet very, very badly.
Yeah.
They're
So
really bad
apparently-
carbon emitter.
they're having Moonstone be their exclusive platform for digital collectible items, cards, artwork, and games. I feel like they're like, this is going to build Cmon's reputation as a leader and pioneer in the gaming industry. This is not
Really?
a good... This is not.
No, the reaction was very negative last time this came up.
You're going to have, like, this is the unique digital copy of this board game
Also,
that anybody else could also just make a copy of?
yeah, you can literally still save a copy of it. You don't. It's not like a physical item.
We only made one of these in the entire world, and you have it on your shelf. Nope. It's a
It's on a
digital
server.
token
It's on a server somewhere.
that we promise not to copy.
No,
Better
just-
hope that server never
The
breaks.
worst part of that is you technically don't even have it It's on a server somewhere that you have access to because of your token.
Yep. It's dumb. Like,
you don't even have it. Yes!
It's...
Why?
I hate this shift to, like, how everyone is trying to force everything to become, like, digital media. I don't like that.
I was joking with my mom at one point in time, but I feel like it seriously will come around at some point in time. We just have to wait for the hipsters to get into physical books, because then it'll be like records. You'll have actual paperback books and stuff.
Yeah, some guy in Silicon Valley will reinvent the book and everyone will go crazy for it.
Yeah, they did have the record. People love records.
Yeah.
Why is it bad for the environment exactly?
It's because of... It's like the same thing with mining cryptocurrency. The CPU and power requirements for it cause more carbon emission, and it's a pretty high cost, but...
And oftentimes, cryptocurrency is used to purchase these things. So it's adding on to that.
Yeah, it's compiling issues. If it was just like, hey, you just pay like real money, it wouldn't be that big of an issue for the environment. It's still stupid, and you're still wasting your money.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't be an environmental issue.
And people, and like the main amount of crypto that's in the market is being generated by the server farms and stuff like that, which is causing the energy drain, which is causing the carbon emissions. It's this kind of
silicon shortages.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is one of the reasons we are having a silicon shortages and stuff like this.
Yeah. So like this is just awful to see. Like as soon as I saw this, I was like, "What the hell is wrong with these people?"
This is. I would have figured the reaction from months ago would have been like, anyone who's smart in marketing and business would know we shouldn't touch this. With like a
maybe they didn't get the memo.
It's possible that, and maybe they think it's been enough time and no one would notice.
Yeah,
or
it's
give
never
a shit.
Enough time.
Because like the company that they're connecting with hasn't even launched their platform for selling these things yet. They're like, hey, these people, they're like ground flooring on with this group. Okay.
Maybe they're trying to gauge a reaction to see if they'll go forward, and if it's really negative, they'll be like, "Oh, well, we decided to not go through with the deal," and then they'll get a PR.
Yeah, it's like we listen to our fans.
Yeah,
that kind of
But if people aren't negative about it, they'll go through with it because money.
Yeah, if people are negative about it, we'll get one of those soulless press releases that every company gives.
And this is this thing kind of hints at me, because if you kind of they have like a blurb at the end of the page here that they talk about like Come On Games.
Oh, I didn't even want to read it.
And like the fact is that it started out as a small company that found success when they got 75 million on Kickstarter for their Zombicide games. Or they have gotten for, like, on Kickstarter, they've raised over 75 million on the platform. And their Zombicide was really successful. And I'm like, that's a lot of money that they've raised over the years. So that tells you why they've gone from, like, nothing in 2012 to what they are now. Yeah. But it's also like, this is such a... Damien, why are you so needy?
Damien is not a fan of this.
Yeah, I don't like crypto. Meow, meow, meow.
I don't like it. I go kitty, meow, meow. It's like they do say they're a small hobbyist roots to a multinational corporate group. Yeah, they're multinational now, and great. You've gone Evil Corp. This is Evil Corp, and I'm sorry, Hasbro is currently better than you. Hasbro hasn't done this shit.
That's impressive.
Hasbro has made a mobile game out of Magic the Gathering. That's pretty bad. Pretty awful. Yeah, you've gone beyond that. You were above that for a while. I am
Pray don't tell me further.
They basically did that. They're like, I hold my beer, Hasbro.
Imagine being worse than Hasbro.
That
takes effort.
And for those of you out there that don't realize what I was saying, yes, I'm comparing Magic the Gathering Arena to a mobile game, because it basically is.
It is. I'm pretty sure they have a mobile version, though.
They probably do.
I think that launched. I know it got announced.
You have to grind for special currency to get packs, or spend real world money to get it. Yeah. And there are packs that are digital only ever, unlike Magic.
Digital only.
Yeah, unlike Magic Online, which
they have no resale value.
Magic Online, if you collect an entire set, you can still get a full physical copy of it.
Didn't they like discontinue support for that?
Nope.
They realized they could. Oh wow.
It's hard to do.
Okay.
And it's time consuming because it will be like 6 months or more before you get it. So it's really it has to be. There are certain rules for it too. You can't do it if the set is too old too. Nowadays, so like if I would in Magic Online collect the current set, I could send away for it still. The who was it that showed off how you could do that? I think it was Talaria Academy. It was one of the big Magic YouTubers. There's a couple of them that I check out stuff from. He might have been him or one of the other ones. I can't remember which. But they like showed this is how you can redeem stuff still. These rules are in place. Arena doesn't have shit like that. Arena rarely gives you codes with physical things for stuff. Like Pokemon, every pack gives you things for digital cards. You know,
I want to say
that's why can't we do that for Arena?
Yeah. It has been multiple years since Arena's been out, and it's still only 1v1.
Yeah, Arena has so much issues and so bad. I'm glad I didn't really get deep into it. I like got through the tutorial, played a little bit, and I was like, nope.
Yeah, it's bare bones. And again, there's no value to the cards, and you're just gonna spend real money on them. Like, a card that you buy in a pack has physical resale value. And this is why push to digital is stupid, because you can't resell a digital item.
But with NFTs you can now, because tokens!
Technically, yes.
You can, I mean, there's key sellers, you know. You can technically resell digital items, but if the platform doesn't allow trading, then that has no value unless you sell your account, which in most cases is illegal and against terms of service.
Yes.
Yeah. So they really like. It's the unfortunate thing that they've never added value to their stuff. Granted, like I will say, Magic: The Gathering secondary market has always been very bad, and Wizards obviously watches it but never does anything about it. Like it's like they claim they don't. You watch their activities, they know that they're paying attention to it.
But Pokemon cards, I have a whole bunch of the original run of Pokemon cards, and they actually had some value. But like a year or so ago, they went and reprinted all the original cards, so all of my cards are worthless.
Yeah, I bought a box of those the reprints.
Yeah.
I like me some Pokemon cards. I don't want to play the Pokemon card game.
I've
never played the
Pokemon has like this weird high value now, and I don't understand the incentive. Well, it's like
Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh cards have made such a weird comeback.
Well, even Magic sometimes I don't understand it because, like, okay, when you're in Standard and something becomes the hot shit of Standard, it can go really expensive. There are cards that I'm like thinking about that I heard someone talking about the other day, like a Thragtusk, I think it was called, and I got one, and at the time it was like $30, and I'm like, cool, I'm not gonna sell it, I'll play with it. It's like $1 now because it went out of Standard, and when it goes out of Standard, it's not as important anymore. You kind of have to watch for that. It's like Standard sucks for buying stuff.
Yeah.
Only unless the card is really good and stays really good does it stay high price. And there are some like that. Well, there still are some cards like that. There's like there's a couple of like Planeswalkers that are like must-haves. They're like $100, and it's like, well, fuck you. I think it's like one of the Jace, like one of the original Jaces is like $100 or something, and I'm like, fuck you, I'm not getting that ever. Like again, like I've always said, like whenever I buy Magic cards, 30 is the most I'll spend, and if it's 30, it's because I've designed a deck and it really needs that card. You know, that's like a critical card to that deck. Otherwise, like 10 is my normal upper limit for the average.
The only investment I would do would be in physical objects. Would be like a car, because I can work on that and it has a value as a collector's item, and You can't just reprint a car from the 60s.
You wouldn't print a car.
I mean, they can probably print cars sooner or later, but
Yeah,
it's not the same thing.
Like, I have to admit, I have this insane Magic collection. Will I sell it? I don't know. I just like collecting it, honestly.
I sold all my Warhammer stuff and got like a pretty penny for it, so...
I could probably get a lot.
There's people who would buy this stuff.
There's like... let me see if I... Let me get to my... If I can see my camera and let me adjust
We've
this.
spent way too long on this topic.
Magic cards!
That looks a lot like my Warhammer shelf did.
But, yeah. Yeah, we should move on from this horrible thing that Come On Games has done to something that makes us all feel less awful about reality.
No, that's possible.
I mean, it might be possible.
Maybe. Let's briefly talk about some RPGs that we talked about last week.
Oh, no.
I mean, I'm just going to throw the 3 links into chat here for these 3 things, and we'll kind of, again, this was just going to be a brief visit here. I said it was going to be a brief visit. There's that one.
Oh, hell yeah. I like this first one, I think.
Oh, hell. Power Rangers. I love that show.
And there's this one.
Oh, baby, yeah.
Oh, G.I. Joe. I've watched this one before.
And Transformers. Very original Transformers.
I remember these. ones.
The thing is, these, like, if you look at it, they are all classic. Like, I was reading on the Power Rangers, it's supposed to be, like, Zordon type era.
Oh, shit.
Oh, the best era.
So they're like, they detailed locations in Angel Grove. You know, it's
I mean, no lie, I would probably play the Power Rangers one. I freaking, that was my childhood.
Yeah,
Okay?
Power Rangers was great.
You can have your original, like, Zord, with the giant, is on the screen, is the giant, whatever the fuck, Brachiosaurus breathing fire?
I think it's a laser. It has a gun in its mouth. Yeah.
Look,
yeah, it's like a laser, yeah.
And
there's 2 of them.
And gold monkeys in the air and skeleton dudes in front. And
the gold monkey, I forget his name, but he's one of Rita's
wait,
minions.
isn't he like actually like Goldar or something, which is just like he's actually
Goldar.
he's actually
that's his name.
because he's gold.
Yeah.
Nice, dude. I love it.
I don't remember.
Oh man. No, yeah, this is Rita and Lord Zed. So this is like the first 3 seasons, I think?
because it was Rita and then Zed, and then Rita came back and seduced him, apparently, so that they were a married couple of evil or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Eventually they like fell out of relevance at some point, but they like were still in there in later seasons, like as references to like, hey, people that still watch the original stuff.
Yeah, they milked this like era of stuff with the Angel Grove stuff for very long. Like I have to admit, like it was so long about it, but you know, I guess their focus, yeah. Rita Repulsa, Lord Zed, Master Vile, and more in the epic world of Power Rangers.
I remember Master Vile, unless that's the skeleton. He was just a minion of Lord Zed, I think.
Yeah, it could have been also like another one from one of those later seasons because they're like the Machine Empire.
It's possible. I don't remember.
God.
Came after Lord Zed. The funny one is doing what I do when I just Google things. Awesome.
Okay, so he's the first three seasons.
Alright.
I'm guessing the Machine Empire, was that when they got like cars or something? I remember they got cars or something, yeah.
Turbo, I think, was cars.
Yeah, and they're fighting machine people. Dumb. Yeah, it was kind of dumb. It was still the same era, but they were like, you know, like we got cars now. That's that's
so much better.
Yeah, dinosaurs were better.
And I'm a car person.
I mean, dinosaurs and like, was it like weirdly mythological creatures or something, or animals or something next? Those were fine.
I think they went back to animals when they went ninja.
Oh God.
Which was much later, and then they went space.
I don't know.
Space was not good. The space was not good.
Well, the space was like, you know, the first one not set in the same kind of thing. It was like, we've gone to space, and we're different now.
Yeah. They were like different rangers, too. They were like not Earth. They were like galactic rangers or something. I don't remember. It's been so long.
I gotta take a look at this picture. Like, zoom in more.
Zoom and enhance.
Why
Zoom
they
and
have?
enhance.
Okay, Power Rangers. The Power Rangers role-playing game deluxe 6-player core rulebook set. Oh my God! If you have 6 players, it's got all the different. It's got like the 6 colors.
Oh, hell
I do
yeah.
like that.
So like, just one person buys all the books, so like you each have a different color.
Oh, let's
$100.
go.
Man, look.
I would actually play this because I
don't remember enough about Power Rangers.
like G.I. Joe and Transformers.
The Transformers book is, or the G.I. Joe book is 304 pages long, apparently.
That's a pretty big book.
That's a pretty big book.
That's a big book.
What, like, these are pretty big books. They're pretty robust for their new system.
I mean, if I could play as Cobra, because there was like Lady Dread
Well,
or whatever.
yeah,
on the cover.
it's.
I'm sorry, she's hot.
It's weird because
fair.
they're like, you choose your military training, personal traits, and role within the G.I. Joe organization to become a real American hero. I feel like
I don't
G.I.
wanna
Joe
be an
is
American hero.
weirdly like that weirdly like weird patriotic in a like a weird way kind of thing. And I just don't understand. Like,
probably like problematic.
it could
levels
be.
at times.
I think that's the problem.
Oh, Joe.
I think.
I mean, you know what G.I. Joe stands for, right? You know the joke behind it.
I forget the joke behind it, honestly.
So GI stands for government issue,
Yeah.
and Joe would reference a person. So you're like government issue person.
Yeah.
It's
Oh God.
yeah.
Yeah, I remember that now.
If you understand what it means, it's kind of a little insulting.
Yeah. Kind
My
of
dad
is.
was military, so I kind of know that. So yeah, I think there was a different word. It might have been something else. So they might have changed Joe to be like to Joe. Maybe Funny One knows more about this as I open up the Transformers book.
Like, honestly, I think the only reason I think you could get away with this kind of how it is because it's the 80s campy style of things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
It's dumb.
yeah, it's dumb.
Dumb 80s stuff.
It's dumb 80s, you know, it's like it's the unfortunate thing that a lot of the connotations of like how the original series did have changed over the years, and it doesn't work as well. And like they've again, like it's what they've had their like dark gritty reboots that haven't worked and stuff a lot of times.
Oh, God.
Yep.
Everything needs dark.
And
dark
also
gritty
live
reboot.
action.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
well, they're live
Usually
action.
worse.
They're live actions which are either too dark and gritty and don't play up the comical straits that they are ridiculous enough, or play up the ridiculousness too much or something, and it's just bad.
Yeah, like G.I. Joe was incredibly silly.
It was super silly.
They,
I mean,
look,
if you could play as Cobra,
they had an
Weather
entire
Dominator.
they had the Weather Dominator. They had an entire episode about the Viper coming, and it was a guy with an accent that was a window wiper.
Yeah.
And they spent millions of taxpayer dollars, and at the end of it, they're like, "Oh, it's just the window wiper." Ha ha ha! Like tracking down this random dude there to wipe the windows, and they're like, "It's an agent of Cobra." It's like, what?
Yeah, it's very silly.
That level of silliness is like, if you capture that in a game or you understand that's what you have, I think it would be fine then. But and then of course original Transformer.
I like
propaganda
Transformers.
cartoons.
They are very propaganda-y. They are
They really kind of were.
Yeah,
it was extreme propaganda.
I mean, in the 80s, you either they were an advertisement for a toy or they were propaganda or both.
It both.
Yes.
That's what G.I. Joe was. It was both. It's like
It
U.S.
was
propaganda.
definitely both.
It's like, you know, beat up some communists and also, you know, or I guess
No, they're not communists. They're an evil cult.
they're evil terrorist organization.
Yeah,
Ooh.
terrorist organization.
That you know, that's snake themed.
I mean, I'm sorry. I would play the G.I. Joe one if it had rules for being Cobra.
No, what we'd have to do is, if I use the G.I. Joe system, I would use my original idea, which I came up with an idea for like a really jokey thing that it was at a anime convention one year. One of my friends told me a story about, this is a little sidetrack, it'll be a quick one though.
Phil Joe.
Someone wasn't able to show up for like one of the masquerade contests, the one that like is where they do little skits in costume. in your like anime costumes as a group, so they had a chair stand in for them, like a literal chair. So I was like, so we were like making jokes about the chair, and we were like, oh, then the chair's really like a secret agent or something, you know? And then we're like, oh, well, what does it face against? And it's like the evil version of it, which is a chair with an eye patch. And so we came up with the idea, it's Scobra, it's a scorpion cobra kind of thing. And we were like, we could do like a weird, you know, thing with this, you know, at there, but we never actually did because we're lazy. But, you know, like, where there's chair, an evil chair, where it just turns around, it's got, like, an eye patch tapped to it, you know?
Dun, dun, dun.
But that would be the G.I. Joe game, where your like, literal head, which is chair, would just be an inanimate chair that you talk to that doesn't do anything, and you just act as if it's commanding you.
Oh, man.
And the villain's just a chair with an eye patch.
What was the big villain guy's name in the end of my adventure? It was Ram?
Yeah, Ram.
It's just that is your commander. A guy who's actually insane, but everyone's like super afraid of him because they don't know how strong he is. So they're like, well, I mean, he says we gotta go to this cave and break this crystal, so that's what we're doing.
Well, I mean, I don't understand what a Weather Dominator is or how to build it, but I guess let's work on it.
I mean, it has to do. Okay, so dominating, so that means it has to control something, and weather. I guess he wants us to control the weather, when really he's just kind of like, I hate rain. No one make it stop raining.
We must dominate this weather and get rid of the rain, so I no longer am being bothered by it.
So my basement stops flooding.
I need an umbrella.
His plans are insane, but he says it with such passion.
Yeah, he's got like max charisma and dump intelligence and wisdom.
That's really how you have to play a G.I. Joe game.
Yeah.
And then of course there's, you know, it really is the original Transformers where they're just trying to get Energon. You know, and it's just
that's better than the
I like Transformers.
I think
it's no dinosaur Transformers, but you know.
I mean, they did introduce they introduced the dinosaur Autobots in the original one with Grimlock. I mean, Grimlock was cool.
But that's not Beast Wars.
That isn't Beast Wars.
I know, but maybe just like if they continue to make books, they'll do like, you know.
I will play the Beast Wars.
The Beast
Wars
Wars
I'd probably do the Beast Wars one too. Just like spoilers for fucking Beast Wars from like the freaking 90s.
I was just about to watch it.
It's Earth, but like super far in the past.
Yeah. So then they eventually figure out, because apparently the Autobots and Decepticons were like there for like 1,000,000 years or like more on Earth, you know, that they were buried. They're like, oh no, the Predacons are trying to go after, like, you know, the Autobots, and we have to protect them or some shit like that. It got weird in the last season, I gotta be honest.
Yeah. What? Spoilers, bro.
And then there was a really weird CGI sequel on like on Cybertron, which was really fucking weird. It is not great. It is not great because it goes ultra weird. They like go back, but like it's like not the same or something, and it's I don't.
I think Beast Wars had either a time travel episode when they went back in time or they went forward in time, but it was like season 3 or 4 or 5 when they started revealing all this stuff. So it's like they had an idea for the show and they're like, oh crap, this is really successful, we need a plot.
Well, it's sort of like there was an entire thing of like, we're really on Earth, and like the Predacons were like, we're gonna go kill primitive man, and they were like, nah, we gotta protect primitive man now.
Gotta save primitive man.
Hi, like the monkey people that like use tools or something.
Yeah, I mean, I really liked that show. Yeah, it was good for its
good time.
It's probably hard to watch nowadays.
Oh, it's probably terrible.
Oh god, yeah.
Go back and watch it.
The CGI at the time was like, oh, my brain is exploding, but now it's like.
Well, the thing is, give it a little longer, and it will circle around. It's sort of like you can watch the original Transformers. It's hella campy, but you know it's campy and ridiculous, so you can watch it. It's sort of like eventually it will circle around to that level. It hasn't quite gotten there yet. Give it like a decade.
Single Cell Wars. I recently rewatched Reboot, which was a CGI.
Oh god,
CGI
Fucking reboot.
It's so good. I was like, I know it's kind of ugly, but I think I mostly just watched the later season, the second half, where they're
like traveling to places and like
which is the more interesting one.
Yeah, honestly. Where they get like gruff Elmo as an adult kind of thing. And
it's not Elmo, he's Elroy.
Elroy, whatever.
No, that's Jetson.
Whatever. I don't know his name. It's like E something rather. It might be Elmo or Elroy.
E something.
But anyway, and then the ending of that series is so weird because then they get back there and they have like two versions of the kid, and he's like, well, there's adult gruff me, and I was like, well, you got kid version of me too. Let's hang out together, kid. I'll teach you a couple of things. my like weird young my weird young clone.
Enzo. Yeah, and his mom or whatever was Dot Matrix.
Sister
was a pun.
Yeah.
Oh, sister. Yeah, older sister. Because everything was like a computer pun.
Yeah.
You know,
like,
megabyte.
hexadecimal was. Yeah.
I'm sorry, that show was great.
I liked Hexadecimal a lot more as a villain because she was just fun. You know, as the kind of crazy mask lady.
Yeah, she was fun, but she also had like a better arc.
Yes.
Megabyte was just a villain forever.
Yeah, he was just evil. Yeah, you know.
I'm evil villain. He's basically Hitler. He kind of was. If you go back and watch, he was kind of Hitler. Maybe slightly less insane.
Computer Hitler.
And less evil. Is that a race car driver?
It's Assassin's Creed, yeah, I think.
Oh, Ezio.
I think.
Assassin's Creed 2.
Yeah.
He's the only Assassin's Creed character I would know by name.
I know the guy from the first game.
The guy in the real world. The guy in the real world. I would recognize his name, but I keep forgetting it.
I think his name was
Steve.
His name is Desmond. I'm pretty sure.
Desmond. And then he gets murdered, and it doesn't make any sense anymore for their plot lines, and they throw the real world plot lines outside the window.
They
jumped the shark.
They jumped the shark a long time ago.
We went on a strange turn.
we have been on a turn.
It's that kind of day.
What's next? Is it week in tabletop?
I think
deeper discussion.
Deeper discussion. Let me just docket it.
I think we had our deeper discussion on 80s cartoons.
Well, no.
No. Player invincibility to decisions and actions. Sure. Yeah. Let's talk about this.
Oh, jeez.
Okay. Yes. That's a thing that I think we came on last week when we were talking about how rolls of your dice can fuck with things in your game in ways that you're not expecting.
Yeah.
And it's at a combination of like, it's really like your pre-planning and your improvisational skills as a DM, which gets you through when things that are problems.
Like Thursday when we rolled awful.
Yeah, when none of you rolled good.
Yeah, we rolled very bad. No, I had some really great rolls that were what I had like plus zeros to, which I shouldn't have succeeded on.
Yeah, they were like good rolls, but the investigation rolls left things to be desired.
It's like, you need a perception or like, like a history check, and I'm like, ha-ha! I'm not going to get this. Why am I getting this?
I have no perception. I have history. I have investigation. I fail both of them.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know.
I wasn't understanding the rolls I was getting. It was very weird.
This
so
rogue bard, nat 20 to Arcana check. Somehow knew that information.
Yeah.
I mean, so something that we talked about before in one of our discussions that bothered me, that I've kind of come back around on, because in building characters for Pathfinder, Arcana in that is like knowledge Arcana. It's not like using magic, it's knowing magic. Which, because there's no spellcraft in 5e. So it makes sense that certain people can roll Arcana, and then it's like, oh, it's something you've experienced before, some kind of spell thing. I still don't like it if it's a non-spellcaster person, because
I think as with a spellcaster, it could be forgiving to have them roll it and know some tidbits of information.
Yeah.
Or be able to identify part of something.
I think there are
like
parts.
if your fighter rolls Arcana, I mean, I guess it's possible that somewhere at some time they've experienced something that they just came into their mind. But because it's a role-based system, it's like, I got a nat 20. What'd I learn, DM? You're a fighter. You learned nothing.
Well, the thing is,
magic.
The nat 20 doesn't matter really. It's like the DC. Like you could keep it simple. Like you might know like maybe like there are like reasons behind it. Like you could say like, hey, maybe you're not trained in it, but maybe your trainer that was teaching you some things is like, teaching you some different spells so you could recognize them and know how to act against them. And it's just like, how well did those? If you're not trained in it, maybe those lessons didn't hammer home very well. But if you roll lucky, you're like, hey, that's a fireball! My toucher saw it. You throw a spell out and it explodes. I remember that one at least. But I also kind of feel like Arcana is a catch-all sometimes for when it comes to Magic, and I feel like I've been thinking about it more. And in D&D, I kind of want to split it, like nature more for like druidic type magic, religion for more like divine magic, and Arcana for more of that like bards, sorcerers, wizards.
That is how I'm trying to start doing it, because that makes sense.
Yeah, because like those types of magic are associated with those elements. Like, granted, like I feel like someone that's trained in nature might not know all the nature magics unless they're like a spellcasting class, and I might say like if I'm just like a ranger, I get a few spells, or like
maybe you've heard of something that does this.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, I've heard that druids can manipulate that kind of thing, as spells. Oh, because nature casters use whiz instead of int, and it's an int base. Yep. All the knowledge is being int.
The same thing with religion. A cleric is not good at religion because they're not an int-based character.
You just let them roll with wisdom. That's
I think it's a problem with 5th edition in comparison to something like Pathfinder or earlier editions. In earlier editions, when they were separate knowledges, and like Pathfinder, as I level up, I could put skill points to something. I get bigger bonuses. So it doesn't matter, I might not have a great intelligence. I've learned about religion and its natures and stuff over time.
As opposed to 5e, where it's just a proficiency check, which gets slowly over.
Skills are kind of like left in 5e, and that's an opinion I will maintain.
I kind of have to agree.
Unless you're a level 20 character rogue and you have like
expertise, a rogue or a bard.
I think I would like more expertises in characters. Just spread out slowly, and rogues still get their bonuses. They do.
Ranger can actually get expertise if you use the optional rules.
Maybe in cautious?
I think because they have the thing that replaces favorite terrain.
But like, let's say just a broad thing, slightly off topic, or very off topic technically. If all classes had at a certain point get like a +2 to a skill that's part of their class. Like if you're a fighter, you can get a +2 athletics because you've been busting your ass. Maybe you're level 10 or 8 or something. Well, here's a bonus to help you stand out.
Even if we keep it like very DV friendly, and just every class gets some extra expertises,
Or that, you can get expertise at a certain level, but I would restrict it to something of your class.
Yeah, no, a class skill, and then like rogues get their bonus ones, so rogues will have a lot.
Just get even more.
Yeah,
and rogues might be not limited. Like rogue and bard probably wouldn't be limited. It'd just be like, as long as you're proficient in this, you can have expertise, because that's kind of the nature of their classes.
I think you should be able to invest time and money to eventually gain an expertise in something.
Yeah,
but
I mean
that is against the rules.
Technically,
but the rules don't really matter in 5th edition. They're kind of suggestion.
Well, I think the thing about expertise too is it's a very high numbers difference for what like normally you kind of get at things.
I mean, it's double your proficiency, which could be as little as +2 or as high as +6.
Yeah.
It depends on the level, you know. And if you're getting up to that high level,
where like you'd have plus 10 then. I mean, when you're getting to plus 10, you're
11, 12, I think is when you kind of peak out.
Yeah.
I had some really stupid expertise to charisma skills as a bard.
Yeah.
I think I've had like
Yeah,
Doc's had like mega lying skills and bullshitting skills.
I think the other thing about expertise and thinking about skills is skills are good, but they're not the be-all, end-all in 5th edition too a lot of times. And I think that's one of the reasons that I feel like doing this would not really unbalance things, because the only skill that maybe comes up in combat is something like hiding, and that's a fucking rogue, and they can already put expertise in stealth anyway.
Athletics, acrobatics, and stealth are like the 3 combat.
I don't even think athletics. Oh no, athletics would be grapple. Yeah. And acrobatics is optional because it's if you're a defender, you can use acrobatics. But unless you're doing a grapple build, which is possible, but not good.
It's weird. You can do it. I mean, I allow. This has never really come up because players don't tend to move away from enemies in 5th edition.
No.
If you want, I allow an acrobatics check to try to avoid an attack of opportunity. Because I think that makes sense. I mean that's just a thing in other stuff.
It's the thing in Pathfinder. You can be like, acrobatics away, or acrobatics, like, in fact, in general, to avoid them.
But our actual deeper discussion is talking
about
the invincibility of players.
Well, this kind of harpens into it a little bit, too, because the fact...
it's a little related.
It is a little related, so that's why I wasn't really necessarily stopping us, is that a player, through actions, decisions, can kind of get to this idea where they think they're invincible. Unfortunately.
This is something that Lightning and I had a chat about.
Yeah, that's why I'm super glad you're here.
Ranged characters often end up feeling like nothing can hurt them because enemies are typically more focused on the big meat wall hitting them in the face.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yep. I've been on both sides of this where I'm DMing and the ranged characters are like, I'm invincible,
because
and it's kind of like
sorcerer with spell sniper. Oh, that's not gonna last forever, buddy. Eventually, you're gonna have to go inside somewhere.
Yeah, but it's kind of one of those things where this is something that came up. I don't know if it was a certain big name D&D person I was watching a video on.
It may have been.
Or just some other thing, but they were talking about what was it exactly? Maybe it was a certain person in our chat. I don't know. But the short version is, as the DM, you have the ability to make everything more difficult, where the players don't. The players have it was definitely, now that I'm thinking about it, it was definitely like a yesterday thing with a certain person in the chat. Yeah, exactly. The DM can make anything more difficult without really any repercussions, as long as there's a good enough explanation of why something is there. Where the players, this is the ability you have. You either need to be smarter about your abilities or have better abilities.
Yeah, like as a DM, if a party is doing 2 welding encounter, and say you're in a lair, like you're in a dungeon, you can just have more mooks show up.
But,
and things like that.
But I think the problem comes in when the players get the false idea that you're doing something on purpose to punish them for being good.
And I think that's the problem with player invincibility. I think that's what it comes to, is because you want to make sure they don't feel invincible, but it's kind of hard to do that sometimes depending on what's going on.
Yeah.
Is it part of their build that's like the thing is, like, and there's an honest thing, you can stumble onto something in a build in any edition that's just better. Is a good way of saying it. You don't know when you're going to stumble upon that. Like, there's a combination of things, and this works on the other side with DMing, that you can just run into, and you're like, wow, that's gross. How the hell did we do that? I do that. You weren't even...
I've experienced that one.
Now, granted, you can power game into that and, look up builds and stuff like that, And if you're doing that on purpose, I mean, you know what you're coming into. That's not what we're talking about on this one, that you know you're coming in powerful.
Yeah.
This is, you stumble onto something crazy, and you start to realize it, it's going to give you that overconfidence. It's, you know, which, I mean, Darkest Dungeon says is slow and insidious killer, but...
yeah, eventually, the DM is going to realize you've stumbled upon something, and is going to make a counter to it.
The problem is, it's like balancing that counter is difficult.
Yeah.
And
because it could feel like you're targeting the player specifically.
Or just punishing the entire team, too.
Mm-hmm.
Because
I think this is a problem more in Pathfinder, is if you have someone... Well, let's say you have a party of people, let's say you have 5 people, and 4 of them are just kind of like, I just want to play what sounds fun, and the 5th person's like, I'm going to play what is, like, super powerful and amazing, and they are like leagues better above the rest of the group in combat. If the DM, this is something we've talked about before, if the DM's like, I need to make encounters harder, well, they may be fine for Mr. Power Game guy, but they'll totally obliterate the people who are just playing to have fun.
And again, that's the same thing with like whether or not that guy planned on it. If that one person comes up with this insane build, whether on purpose or accidental, they're automatically unbalancing things. And it's hard because you don't want to murder everybody else, you don't want to target them, and then it's sort of like, well, you know, that's something I think all of us struggle with as a person in charge of a game. You got to figure out the right balance, and it's not always easy.
I shake my head in agreement that no, it's not.
It is actually quite difficult to balance encounters for your party, especially because I don't know what half this shit does in 5e as much as I do with Pathfinder.
I think it's the issue that, like, and this is something interesting to say, is, like, D&D, as much as it's kind of simple, when it has abilities, they are very vastly different abilities. It's sort of like... I
told you how you can fix that computer focus.
What? Did I...
a certain nerd in a certain fantasy, or not a sci-fi system with a certain focus and an ability that makes it so they always have focuses and abilities, when really they shouldn't have a focus in every ability just because they interact with a certain object while using things in that world.
I think I'm missing something here. My brain is just lost.
Did you not see the chat?
Context or something.
My focus in computers. Oh, focus on computers in a tech world. Yeah. Oh, God. Yeah.
I was in that chat, and I've already pointed out how you can massively nerf it.
I know what you're talking about now.
It's not a focus in using computers. It's a focus in computers. Like, this computer is broken. I need to fix it. All right, focus applies. Like, I'm going to make an email. Do I get a focus?
Do I get a focus for writing an email?
Yeah, you can
write an email just because you're using the computer.
you can separate it out a little bit more. So rather than just computers, it'd be like computer repair or like computer programming. You know, it's two different things. Yes.
You just have to pick out like, where is the focus? Is it in using them? Because no, I would just blanket not allow that, especially in a high tech world. It'd be like if you were playing a D&D game and a cell phone was like one of the major items you used, and it's like, I have expertise in cell phone. How many things can your smartphone do? It can do a lot of things. No, you don't get expertise in smartphone. You know?
Yeah, it's the idea that you like have mastered an aspect of that. Like, you know, it's generalization versus specific in that point in time.
Yeah,
but my brain just broke where I was originally on with this topic before we got
we were talking about something.
I was talking about how, like, I think it comes down to, like, there's interactions always, and you do not know how, like, again, the computers in the tech world is different than a computers in a, you know, world where there's computers are rare, you know. Those have very different connotations. And the thing is, your team, your build, you do not know how they're going to be until they're finished. Oh, that's right. I remember what I was talking about. 5th edition abilities tend to be very verbose and very unique. While Pathfinder abilities, as much as they are unique, they're very standardized. They feel like, you know, it's sort of like, it's this bonus or this. They're more specific. Like, granted, like, you know, like, you might get this bonus to this skill, with this bonus to this type of save. And they're like, it's flavored this way, but that's what it does.
Yeah, like, I could tell you everything a monk can do in 5e. I have no idea what a fighter can do, because I've only played a fighter once.
They hit people with swords, they get hit points back by going...
Look, because I make the Colossus noise every time I heal from the X-Men arcade game.
And that's pretty much it. I mean, they can attack a lot. Unless you break fighter down into the subclasses.
Yeah, specifically, I have no idea what a Cavalier does.
Subclasses do weird
they
shit.
get bonuses to like helping allies, I think.
Right now, I get a mark that if I hit someone in melee, they have to focus on me or something. I don't remember.
I think if they don't attack you, they have disadvantage on their attack rolls.
Sweet.
So
but yeah,
it's a very if you have an ally in the front line, it's really good. It combos really well with that kind of stuff.
It's also like if I had an animal, I could get on or off of it very quickly. But that's
like a giant chocobo.
I mean, that's sort of like a meh ability.
It's kind of like, by the way, you can also do mounted stuff. But it's not built into a way, like for example, I believe if you were playing a Pathfinder Cavalier, all of your abilities are going to be based around being mounted in combat, and then you have one or two that may not. Where in the 5e one, it doesn't care if you're mounted or not, but here's some bonuses to make mounting easier for you.
Yeah, I generally don't know what like 90% of the classes do in 5e, because I only play monks and clerics.
They're all basically the same thing.
Yeah.
Either you have spells, or you hit things with swords.
I only play monks and clerics. That's it.
Honestly, the Cavalier and Pathfinder is actually a lot more like the Cavalier fighter. They do get like some animal abilities and like this charge ability, but like their big things are they have like a banner that inspires allies, they have an order which gives them abilities, and they have a challenge. They can challenge an enemy to like, one-on-one combat. They're very much more
duel.
Yeah, they're very much more like a knight, kind of, I would say.
Yeah.
They just also
they pull out a deck of cards after that.
They just also have a like animal companion that's like your trusted steed.
Fair enough.
Yeah. But yeah,
I kind of want to. I like the description. Like I looked it up in Pathfinder. Like you get an axe beak, a camel, an elk, a giant seahorse, a giant tortoise, a horse, a giraffe, or a zebra.
Oh hell yeah! Giraffe combat. Let's go.
Giraffe into battle.
Neck. Giraffe necks are like super strong. They're deadly.
Giraffes are heartless creatures.
Yeah, they murder indiscriminately. And they have a black tongue.
Makes sense. But
just like their soul.
Just like their soul. But yeah.
Range characters. Because they just sit in the back, they can just be like, hi, look at me doing all the damage and stuff.
I mean, the easiest counter to a ranged character is a ranged enemy.
Or spellcaster. Like honestly speaking,
or spellcaster.
I think that's why like I feel like Pathfinder's a little better than 5e because Pathfinder oftentimes mixes their like encounters a little bit more, just for variety. At least when you're talking like the pre-made adventures, while something like 5e is just like it's a bunch of hags. They can do stuff.
It's a bunch of hags in a windmill.
I have not played or run enough of the modules for 5e. But I can tell you, I have seen them before where either the encounter is super dickish, and it's like, they wait in the shadows for you to enter the door, and then they attack you. I'm like, wow, that sucks! My players failed their detection. So, I mean, there's a gnome riding a freaking axe beak in our game.
We'll talk about that.
They fail their perception check, so like they enter the room, they get hit, it does a ton of damage, they're low level, that encounter could have killed them. It was just 2 goblins. They have like 5 hit points.
I mean,
but because they're like in the shadows above and have half cover, they're like actually really difficult to deal with.
Mimic Door.
Mimic Door. Fuck Mimic Door.
Mhm.
I love Mimic Door, but fuck Mimic Door.
And in the same adventure, they have a band of pirates, not actual pirates, but like mercenaries, like evil mercenaries show up, and the game like doesn't account for them not being allowed in or not getting in, and they have like no ranged weapons, but it's also like it could be a super deadly encounter with them because they're like really dangerous. I think I ended up giving them weapons to fight back because I think they didn't have ranged weapons. They just had scimitars. So I'm like, that's stupid.
Like, side tangent on, I guess, encounters like that. The one module I've actually done is Lost Mine, which is technically a module. It's a bad module, but it's a module.
Technically, it's a mod.
It's technically the basic bitch D&D 5e game because it's free with the starter set.
Yep.
The first encounter is an ambush by goblins. That can party wipe you very easily.
Yep.
It's I don't know why it exists. It's dumb.
Well,
and also there's a green dragon that you have to fight for some reason.
5e is a lot worse, I think, in some ways in this case, kind of like talking about it. Because, like, you talk about Mimic Door. That's the first 3 levels in the Curse of Strahd book. Like, you know, in the, like, whatever.
It's Death House.
Death House. Mimics, which are awful, in Annius edition. Pathfinder. Let's talk about Carrion Crown, which murders the shit out of you.
Yeah.
Shows up in Schloss Karamak. The next time you see a Mimic is high level, where you're already like 10, in the 5th adventure, where you're dealing with vampires, coffin mimics. But not only coffin mimics, they also have levels of rogue.
Well, fuck
of course
that.
they do.
Because sneak a mimic.
I love that, but that's
I mean, like, that's at least the one thing I do like about Pathfinder is it's very easy to mix around CRs and stuff a lot more. Granted, you can run into stuff where you don't know it's going to be as ridiculous as it's supposed to be, but that's always, you know.
But we just has a problem with lack of monsters.
Talking about Nat 20s and mimics. Yeah, I just want to re-reference something about rolling a Nat 20, getting like a 31 or 32 perception check, and like that's a mimic over there. The chest is breathing. It's like, hey, I think that chest is alive. Let's leave the room. Poke, poke, poke. All right, it noms you. Surprise attack.
Hey, you're stuck to the mimic now.
Yeah, you're stuck.
My favorite part was when Lynn tried to escape and then got slapped and dragged back into the mimic.
Yeah, you moved away. An opportunity attack. It hits you. Oh, auto grapple on hits.
I mean,
you're trapped again.
This just reminds me of when I did the 4th edition game that I was a player in. We almost got party wiped by a gelatinous cube.
Nice.
Because we kept all getting stuck in it. So it was only our barbarian that was left out smacking on it until it died. Because it just engulfs people. And we couldn't get out. We were just like, well, we're stuck here now.
Oh, shit.
So there you go. If you want to get rid of player invincibility, mimics and gelatinous cubes.
Mimics exist for when I want to teach people to stop stealing everything.
Look, that barbarian is one of my favorite fellow characters to ever add in a game. I think it was like a what are the frick the stone people in D&D are called? The Goliath. It was like a Goliath barbarian.
Oh, Goliath. Yeah.
And our first introduction to her was, you know, you two look trusty. Join our party. When it was a halfling rogue. No, gnomish rogue who had just escaped a city having stolen stuff and just, like, threw some loot under some stuff. And I was a tiefling warlock who just murdered someone and had, like, a bloody dagger. And I was like, into the river. Sure, I'll join your party.
Totally fine.
I was neutral evil.
I mean, like, if I ever want to...
It was great. I was just in it for myself, and they were like, if you guys want to get yourselves killed, I'll just watch and like take your stuff when you're dead.
Yeah, hey, it's free stuff. You're not gonna need it when you're dead.
Like playing a lawful good character in a chaotic neutral party. It's just suffering.
Mm-hmm. Or like, and I think that my favorite moment with her was we had a rope that was running out because one of our people was captured by a monster being drug away through this tunnel. That was the gnome because it was like a small tunnel. So we're like, we're losing rope. We have to tie another rope to on it. Gretchen, throw us a rope. You see the rope spiral down and like hit that like pile like when it like spirals down. Because she threw us down a rope. Like literally, it's at the end of it.
Meow.
Hi, Damien. Welcome back again.
Damien is a mimic cat.
Damien's a mimic.
Mimics
Anyway.
life. The void.
There's probably more we can hit into with the idea that like characters can get that invincible feeling and
Never feel invincible because when you do, the DM's gonna slap you hard.
and
Yeah,
you're
just be
not.
prepared.
You're not. Death is very easy in D&D.
It's a very easy
Yeah.
in any system. Like 5th edition
Because-
is the most forgiving, but still.
I mean, it's just this. Oh, what is the most dangerous thing I can have them encounter? Alright, it's this. Let's throw some minions on it. Minions only have like 1 hit point, but they still have like a longbow for their attack or whatever. And then let's put it in an area that the players have to go into because plot reasons, and also is the worst for Mr. Invincible character. They walk around the corner, fireball.
Mm-hmm. I think it's a little bit of the it's the thing that people forget is like also in amongst a challenge. Like you might be like level 5, so you're like, oh, we can take challenge 5, anything. There's still variety in amongst those.
Yeah.
You know,
Yep.
I could take that pile of
CR is a guess.
There are some CR5s that should not be CR5.
Oh yeah.
Wraiths.
Mhm.
Oh no. Yeah.
I've killed someone with Wraiths. It was pretty
Yes.
bad.
I told you
Two of
there are
them.
no
Two Wraiths.
ghosts. There's only wraiths, specters, and shadows.
Yeah, go start real. Just oops, all Wraiths.
Oops. Oh god, no. Oops already.
I really like that my character believes that. It's so ridiculous.
Yeah, you don't believe in ghost stories.
No.
Too bad you're in one.
Lies. It's a specter story. It was a specter all
It's
along.
a Wraith story.
It's Wraiths. Yeah. Why don't we move on? I do actually have some things related to Kickstarter briefly.
Oh,
No one
shit.
else.
Oh no.
First thing that I did want to re-mention, because we did talk about it, that I saw is, our good friend, the Green Hell, the board game, is relaunched. Apparently, I didn't even know they didn't. They took themselves down. They relaunched.
Oh, they took... Wow, okay.
Nice.
Something probably came up that they had to take it down, or there was an
I think
issue.
copyright thing.
Who knows? But they've hit their funding already with 14 days to go again.
Did they get their funding last time?
I have no idea.
I don't remember.
Because if they did and they took it down, and then did they have to give the money back?
they
Well,
would
the thing
give
is
it
if I think they took it down before the end of the campaign.
Yes,
So people,
Okay.
because the campaign, the Kickstarter doesn't take it out until it's done, you know. So, you know, I don't know.
That's weird, but we've already talked about that. It's weird that it's getting a board game, but you
Very
know,
weird, yeah.
They apparently have like a plinko tower of pieces or something.
Nice.
That if things like I guess things fall out one side or the other, it determines what's going on. I
That's
don't know
very
why
strange.
they have a plinko tower.
that sounds like that's new. Did they get too many ideas, and so they had
Here.
I don't know.
You can see the plinko tower right here. I just noticed it, and I'm just like, that's a weird thing. It's a
tower.
dice tower. They call it. It's a plinko tower.
That is Plinko, yeah.
I don't remember a Plinko tower before because they had like crafting.
I think they still have the crafting.
Yes, they still have the
scrolling
crafting.
through here. Yeah. Wait, this Plinko thing is definitely new. That was not in the first one.
Oh, they've got these like nice like animated things for it too now. They're like,
Fancy.
I mean, they
Did
made a
have
video.
character cards before.
I do not remember what they had before. Gotta be
I
honest.
don't remember them having player cards before.
So
Couldn't tell you.
it's a thing.
It-
That's back.
Maybe they added too many things, so they had to relaunch it.
Who knows?
A lot of
Oh
different.
man, I don't even
crosswords.
know. It's weird.
It's a weird thing, yeah.
Anyway, and the thing I really wanted to talk about is I saw. I'm gonna butcher this name, so don't mind me butchering it. Boricubos The Lost Isles, Latin American Monsters and Adventures. So it's a book on Central and South American monsters and a companion Caribbean campaign setting for 5e, Pathfinder 1e, and 2e.
That's pretty cool.
Oh.
They only wanted 5,000. They have 75,000.
Whoa!
They are certainly plugged.
Plugged?
That's pretty cool.
Funded.
Yeah.
Hi, Damien. Welcome back
Wow.
yet again. I mean, you get the $18. Looks like it gets you the Lost Isles.
There's a bird man.
There's Birdman.
He's got a bird head, but he's like a buff man.
As should be.
He's whole
This
buff.
is the ideal man.
And there's also a shark man,
There's a
who's
shark.
also very buff.
It's a lot of buff people. What's a buff, like, frog?
The frog is not as buff as the other people, but definitely in shape.
The frog is probably Gripply, because that is an actual
Believe it or
species in
not.
Pathfinder. Yeah, believe it or not. Damien! What? You keep showing up today. Why are you so attentive today? What is it, Cat? Did Timmy down a well? Did you push Timmy down a well again?
Probably.
Anyway.
Yes.
Mare,
Save
yes.
him now. Or I would have consumed his body.
He's dead now. So for $30, you can back it and you get both books, and you can either do
is stretch
5e,
goals.
normal Pathfinder, or 2e. You get to choose.
The stretch goals go up really, really high.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot.
Pretty cool.
Look, maybe they're doing a better version of the Chupacabra, but they already had one for Pathfinder, because in a Pathfinder campaign, we gave one to a duke for a birthday gift.
So we could go and kill some goats.
We didn't have anything else to give him. Honestly, we captured.
Here's a horrible monster. Enjoy. Yes, the
it
goat
was-
problem around here was really bad.
It was an evil campaign. The point in the campaign, we were running a dungeon for a little while because we were doing an evil ritual there. And so we captured some monsters from the local area, and there were like 2 Chupacabras. And we're like, well, we don't need 2. Let's have Chupacabra. Wait, is there was a picture of like a 2-headed snake with like a mouth in its middle that they were showing. There's some like really interesting looking things here, gotta be honest.
Mythology and legends like this are cool in real life.
Yeah.
Yes.
So yup. I guess we can move on to week.
I never have any Kickstarters. I never look.
I don't really look at Kickstarter anymore.
There's like a thing of cat fur floating around in the air. You are evil.
So up next
Yes,
is
our week
in tabletop. We had a couple games that happened.
Yeah.
I don't know if anything happened last Saturday.
I don't think so.
I think last Saturday was very much so just a day off.
Because I was doing other stuff, and it was also my birthday, so I didn't want to. I wanted to take time to myself. Also, I worked on my birthday, so.
Later today, I believe, is going to be a Cyberpunk 2020 game.
I think so.
So
I finished my
stay
character
tuned for next week.
My character is done, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
I forgot half of what my character does. It's been like 2-3 weeks.
I couldn't afford cyberware.
I have a lot of
No
cyberware.
one can. Not unless you sell your soul, and I wasn't going to do that.
I just bought some detective stuff and called it a day.
I have a lot of cyberware and a drug addiction. That's my
I have
character.
a sword and a gun. That's all I need.
You need to get that sexy sniper rifle.
I probably can't unless the game plays longer than a one-shot.
Just stop being a hobo. Get
Never.
a real job.
Never. This is my real job.
See, like,
what about Sunday?
I didn't have anything.
I have
My
a game on
Sunday.
Sunday.
You had a game on Sunday.
You have a game on Sunday?
I have a Sunday game. I did have to leave before the session ended because I got scheduled stupid early for work that day. But we went to Kobold Cave Land and killed some kobolds.
Rude.
They're dicks. They're specifically dicks because one of the rooms had 21 traps in it.
That's too many traps.
One of the traps, most of the traps were just like annoying things, like like you're like a snare, so you're dragged up to the ceiling and then they can poke you, or like a smoke cloud, so you can't see anything. But one of the traps, like a pin needle in the ground that you would step on, and it did a fuck ton of poison damage. And I don't know, almost killed our ranger. Well, he was alone scouting out the cave, so he would have just been dead.
Which is probably not.
No, he would have been like kidnapped, I assume, by kobolds and then eaten later or something.
Yeah, so that's what you do. You kidnap and eat people.
Yeah, he sounds delicious.
It was inside a cave, so like I couldn't do anything because Wizards decided that Dragonborn should be one of the 3 races that don't get dark vision.
Quite literally, yes. We talked about that. We opened the book and looked, and we're like, yeah, only 3 of like the 7 characters or whatever.
Yep.
Don't have dark vision.
It's really dumb because dragons have dark vision and
yeah,
Dragonborn are descended
from
dragons have blind sense.
Yeah, they have dark vision and blind sense, which is just like if something exists if it's next to you. You may not be able to see it, but you know it's there. So you can take a disadvantage attack against a creature that you can't see, but you can still make the attack.
Yeah, we killed a bunch of kobolds. They're like weird kobolds that have like clockwork metal bits on them, and they're making robots or something.
Oh, well, that definitely sounds like they should be killed. Kobolds can't have technology.
We took one prisoner, and then I executed a prisoner in the 3rd game in a row at this point.
Oh, jeez.
It's a weird thing. None of my characters just don't like letting prisoners live, I guess.
That reminds me of Thursdays. We'll get to that later. Tangents, did you have a...
No, the Sunday game is on like a hiatus for now. Some things happened, and it sounds like we might not be coming back to it because some things changed, and so we might be losing some players. More than one.
That's unfortunate.
Unfortunately. So with more than one going, that's like we might just...
It's a death spiral.
Yeah.
That's... I know that experience.
It was just it was just some sudden stuff that came up, so unfortunate.
We've all been in that.
I liked the game, but like things happen in real life, and
Was this the 2nd edition Pathfinder game with the elephant that never forgets?
No, that's 5th edition.
Okay.
2nd edition Pathfinder game we've been at this for weeks, killing off a mine full of like frog people and monkey people, and there's a horrible evil ritual dragon head statue that was surrounded by proteans, the like chaotic...
It's a cave?
It's just like, it's like a strip mine, so it's like the hole in the ground mine.
Oh, okay. If it's a cave, you just gas them.
Yeah, no, it was like we killed everybody up top, and then we've slowly but surely like eliminated the defenses. Then when they all came running up, we slaughtered them, and then the proteans, which were hanging around the pillar, because apparently the pillar's magic attracted them, we had to kill those, and those were kind of annoying. But we managed to murder them.
Those are aliens, aren't they?
Proteans are weird because they are like pure... They're another type of outsider, but they're the ones that are pure chaotic.
Oh.
So they're just... so they're just pure chaos.
So they're the Thursday game.
So, yeah, we eliminated those. I did a Star Trek. We introduced my other character, my more NPC character, who's a counselor, because everybody's dealing with some shit. The doc, I helped out with some things. And this was post my very deep discussion with one of the other characters in a morgue.
In a morgue. What an appropriate place to have a deep discussion.
Yeah.
Well, it was like it was the only private room we could get at that point in time, because my office is currently under quarantine because our sick captain's there, under quarantine, and still wants to work. So, until we
captain.
Until we get like something fixed up.
Just airlock him.
Just shove him out the airlock and steal the shit.
Oh, no.
Look at me.
You're plagued. He's plagued and he won't wear a mask. Out the airlock you go.
So yeah, we're still just dealing with being in another dimension or another galaxy and having like weird cult.
Is it far, far away?
Yes, and a weird genetic cult who like want to make.
Also a long time ago.
No.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
I think they had really primitive technology aside from the.
No, they don't really have primitive technology. They've got advanced technology, but
I thought they had like basic bitch lasers that were.
No,
like,
that was the primitive people that suicided.
Oh, well, that's good of them.
Well, yeah, because they're fighting against the big people who are apparently all about if your species is compatible with us, you become one of the collective genetically.
Oh, that's probably not good.
That's fine.
Yeah.
That's probably evil.
They kind of sound pretty evil and like, where are your species? Are they compatible with us?
That's not red flags.
Oh, they've huge red flags.
I trust them personally.
And I know what happened on Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
Your basement flooded.
Yeah.
You lost internet.
I was there for nothing. I was gonna be there for stuff, but a storm came and like killed everything. And then on Thursday, I had internet back enough, and I felt confident enough to actually join an off-stream game. Someone else must describe that.
It's chaos once again, all the time, every time. But you guys, you're not arrested anymore, so that's good.
They were detained.
You were detained. Yeah, like 2 sessions ago, they got detained. For context, because the sorcerer found a wanted poster of like a missing person poster. Like, oh, we killed this guy. Let's go tell the cops we killed them and get a reward.
Yeah,
it's just like,
you don't have to look for them anymore. They're dead. We killed them.
They were evil.
Please.
They were actually evil. Can we have the reward?
And then they go looking for the other person. We talked about that. Who's the paladin? They're like, oh, hey, we know who this person is. We recognize their like outfit or whatever. Can you just come clear this up? So that was after that.
Yeah. So that's after that shenanigan. So they got some information, basically like missing people's reports, and then like a document being like, hey, you're temporarily deputized. You can use this to question people. And then there was like a conversation of, God, I don't want to be a cop. Someone else have this.
So I took it.
So the paladin took it, and then
he didn't question anybody.
They set off on their quest to investigate, and then they leave town immediately and don't question anyone.
We didn't question anyone in the town.
Just while I started walking.
I mean, I was like half there because the insanity, so not shenanigans, the insanity of the conversations that happen that have nothing to do with like.
Let me put this into perspective. The sorcerer has pocket bacon. That's the level of insanity.
I wear a badge.
Pocket bacon.
And I wear a badge around my head.
Eats it.
Yeah. I wear a badge around my head that's my brother. Spiritually. Yeah. I'm the older brother.
So I'm like half checked out because of just the insanity. And then one person's like,
paladin.
hey, this paper says that they're go missing here. And it's like, fine, let's just go there. Let's not be in here anymore and leave the town. So we had like the authority to question people.
You just didn't.
But we just didn't.
He's like, nah.
I leave to go ready the cart because I'm like I don't want to be in this conversation anymore.
I wrote up so much information because I figured you guys were gonna go question people, and then like, nah, I don't need any of this information. I spent like an hour writing
I feel
up.
that. I feel that
okay.
I've thrown away so much stuff because the players
delete.
just like, nope.
Well, I was actually thinking about it originally, but then I got a little distracted in real world, like with some stuff.
Yeah, you did.
And so
fair.
By the time I got back, we were already on the road.
I'll also go question people.
Yeah,
you don't need it. Now.
We can do it once we've delivered what we have.
Yeah, you found a cart at the bottom of a river.
And some kobolds that we murdered.
Yeah,
I probably could have easily just picked it up and walked it out of there, but I didn't.
Yeah.
I don't know why they exploded or something too when we captured them.
So there was some kobolds in a boat, right? That kind of rowed up because they saw.
We didn't steal their boat.
You saw your camper. You left the boat.
Oh, I need to steal their boat. I need to make up my own navy.
Yeah, you left the little rowboat because they saw like your campfire and like, oh, there's more people to go steal. So they rowed up, and then one who was trying to get off the boat rolled a fucking nat 1 in his stealth, immediately blasted right in the face in one shot because it's a kobold.
And I had no idea what was going on, so like, I'm just gonna walk over here, I guess.
Yeah.
And it's like, stop!
I gotta put things on the board. And then 3 kobolds got out. One was, basic bitch kobold. One was a kobold covered in cooking-ware as armor.
The best thing ever.
He had 2 bucklers, but they were like frying pans, and the handles were sharpened.
Yeah.
So like shields you could use to stab people.
So good, I love them. And then there was a 3rd kobold that was actually really dangerous.
He like exclusively targeted me.
To be fair, he targeted 3 people. Because all of his attacks were AoE based.
No, the last one he did basically exclusively targeted me.
You were standing next to the prisoner he wanted to kill, because he's talking too much. So this kobold in particular had an ability to basically cast Average's Torture at will. I feel like if I roll, it's a recharge ability, so you roll a 6. But he takes a stupid amount of damage himself, as he literally lights on fire to do it. And they captured 2 of the kobolds. And
I killed one with a crit.
One got killed with a crit. Panboy got scared and started like mouthing off all this information. Hold on.
Oh. Because I think there was a really high intimidation check that was involved there. It's like a 20 or something, or 18. It was a really high intimidation check.
It was over a 20.
Yeah. And the other guy was gagged, which I guess at some point someone ungagged him.
Someone said they ungagged him, but it wouldn't have mattered because he can cast it without components.
Yeah, yeah. For that ability, it didn't matter. But I'm like, why would you ungag the spellcaster?
Someone said they ungagged him. He didn't like all the information that was being mouthed off. Also, 2 people from a previous game got mentioned, or 2 things from a previous game got mentioned.
Yeah.
Two big old evil shadow boys.
Yeah, they're probably not good or something.
No, probably not. Anyways, the kobold tried to kill itself and everyone in front of it, and failed to kill itself.
I almost died.
Yeah, you had like 4 HP left.
I had 4 hit points left. I realized that I could have like done the lay on hands thing.
Yeah.
And I just forgot. And then at that point,
happens.
I'm like, whatever.
You went to bed anyways.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just went to bed afterwards. I
slept off the burns.
I got so many healing spells cast on me, and I didn't get up to max hit points. There was like 3 healing spells cast on me, and even one at higher level still wasn't enough to fully heal me. Because I took so much damage.
I actually wasn't sure if that kobold was too deadly or not, and I think if I continued the trend of never being able to roll initiative, I
got a
rolled
nat 20.
shit initiative on everything DM or player. I think if those kobolds had higher initiatives, it would have been a lot more trouble.
It definitely probably would have been more. I think that encounter, if it had 1 or 2 more like miniony mook level guys,
yeah,
like
it
low
could have
AC,
been
low HP, I think it would have been a more balanced encounter.
Yeah.
Because basically only 2 people took a bunch of damage.
Yeah.
I took a little, but it wasn't a lot.
Your axe also took damage because it also got burned.
Yes. But we haven't resolved like healing the axe beacon.
Yeah. I mean, it'll heal once it sleeps, because I think animal companions follow the same healing rules.
Probably.
But yeah, I took a ton of damage.
Took a lot of damage in a small amount of time.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I took more damage than I had hit points, but I had a heal thrown in there in between. Otherwise, I had taken my maximum amount of hit points over the course of that battle.
Yep. The Pan Kobold, he had a lot of AC. But it didn't matter because he got knocked out immediately.
Yeah.
He had low HP, but like a shit ton of AC.
Yeah, which is one of the ways to like balance something.
Yeah, how you balance it. I'm sad I didn't get the stabs one with 2 pans though.
That would have been great.
Two shanks.
I would have happily taken the pan attacks versus
a ray of fire.
He should
have. I had 20 armor class at the time because I had buffed myself up, and exclusively only got attacked by DC things.
No.
Yep.
See, what he should have had is like the multi attack for 2 pan attacks, and if he hits with both, he can do a reaction of panned rend. He's like stab both rend down.
But yeah, thankfully I was able to calculator out that encounter because Cobalt Fight Club is up again.
Well,
Kind of.
Cobalt Flex.
It's different people, I think.
Yeah, I think it is. I think it actually technically existed because I think they have extra books on that one.
And then 5e Tools is now dead. So, I don't know if that's a
I have
trade I like. Just never closed the tab.
Yeah, I never closed the tabs. I have a Wayback one of it open, but I couldn't open the beast here.
I think there's a mirror up as well still.
If you need to post a mirror somewhere, not in chat, but
5e Tools is a great tool.
Yeah.
And where I get all my monsters from.
If you read about it on Reddit, people are really upset.
Yeah, I am sad. But yeah,
some of them were like, "I'm not going to play D&D if this doesn't get fixed."
Wow.
Because I use it for everything, and looking things up without it is horrible.
It is, but yeah, Thursday went fine for the most part. Also, you got like a shit ton of alcohol in that cart now, so you just have like a bunch of alcohol.
I mean, it's probably not ours to sell though, because it's owned by a company, so we're not going to get anything unless they reward us.
Like out of game, I would say they might give us a reward for turning the stuff, but in game, I probably don't give a fuck anyway.
They liberated it from the.
The only one that probably cares is about
pirating. You guys are traveling with a paladin.
Yeah, the one that probably only cares about like getting reward for turning it or selling it or something is the pirate. Yeah.
The pirate's just like, I want to drink and sell all this. And the paladin's like, no, it's attached to my cart with my rented horses.
I bought this cart and rented these horses.
Yeah, well, I mean, they were given to me for free, but you know.
Yeah, you know what? That's true. You do own the cart though. You actually bought that.
I actually own the cart. I actually spent my money to buy the cart, so it is actually my cart or my wagon.
Yeah, and your boss wants. The husband of your boss wants some alcohol, so... I
need to loot that place for some Sundays. I'll just go through it and be like, yup, yoink. What's one bottle?
Yep. Did any other games this week?
No, my Friday game canceled again.
Friday is like dead, almost, maybe.
I'm gonna try to run on Monday.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, I'm free Monday,
it's gonna be Monday evening.
But like, if everybody else is free,
I think Lynn is free. I think.
Good luck to that.
Yeah, Friday had the problem of like half the players dropped out.
Yes.
So it's Death Spiral.
Yeah, it is. It is just like Carrying Crown.
Yeah, it's been Carrying Crown.
Carrying Crown had other issues too, though, I think.
Yeah, but that was one of the contributing factors of the player loss.
Player loss was definitely a contributing factor.
Yeah. Something about just like season oneing it and then picking up with a season 2 later date and trying to find new people.
I really like the character I made in that game because I spent quite a bit of time because because I'm older because I'm an elf.
You're an old person. You're a boomer.
We talked about world events that happened.
Mm-hmm.
I went on to in the book the Xanathar's Guide because Xanathar's Guide has life events, and so I rolled a ton of life events because I'm really old. And I'm like, there's all this really cool like character stuff, and I like wrote like, well, what did this mean for the character? Then this happened, and how did it affect them? So I have like this really cool, mostly for myself background, but like none of it's come up, even though it's still relevant to the character.
That happens. So.
But like, I'll be sad if that game ends and I don't get to play that character anymore.
I think that game is dead.
Which is sad. Just bring that character. Then just teleport to a different plane of existence.
Yeah.
We'll just show up in another game.
Yeah. Anyways, I didn't have a Friday game.
Well, I think that's about it then for today.
Yeah.
Ooh, it was a pretty quiet week when it came to tabletop, but you know, it happens sometimes when things like horrible floods occur.
Yeah, when in my antithesis state flood horribly.
Mm-hmm.
Stupid floods.
Yeah, I know. We sure we can't interest the West Coast in any water? We'll trade them.
I will gladly take some of your water.
Like maybe like 75% of it. Just have all.
I don't know if I want that much of it.
Nah. That's the deal. That's the deal. You gotta take it. Gotta take it. Anyway, thanks to everybody who joined us today. I will at very least hopefully be back for the 2 games this week. I'll probably try to do some streaming this week again. My plans were to technically do some streaming this September and kind of get back into it. You know, the last couple of days was just, you know,
the last couple of days have been great for you.
Dealing with shit. So, like, I'll just try to get some time for it and figure it out and that kind of stuff. But otherwise, Wednesday, 7 p.m. In the evening, that's Legacies of Kain. And then Thursday at 9 p.m., Children of Wrath. Check those out. Fun. Good games. And then we should be back next week. I should be back next week. 2 p.m. for Discussing Tabletop. Maybe have some of these folks, some other folks. We'll find out, you know, as we'll talk tabletop. So thank you, Lightning. Thank you, Momo, for joining me today. Interesting topics to talk about. Hope everybody has a great rest of their weekend, great rest of their day and Saturday. And, you know, we'll have to definitely talk about this crazy Cyberpunk game that Joe is going to run. We'll see how it goes.
I have no idea what's going to happen.
It is a thing will happen. That is the description of it. A thing. It will happen. By the way, until next time then, farewell, everybody.
Bye.